Right. Well, for those that have just joined us on our top of the hour live here for day 5, you are probably wondering why I'm wearing a Wizards hat. In fact, it's probably time to take it off. There we go. It is my birthday hat. And what also is very interesting is that, wait there 1 second. Here's one of my children. This is Bella. Kiss, kiss. Good girl. And her brother is around somewhere. Where are we? Come here, Archie. Here we go. These are the twins, Archie and Bella. And they're also wearing happy birthday. I know, I love you too. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, little bibs on. And the reason for that is that they were both born on my birthday at 5 a.m. 10 years ago. So it's their birthday today, a big 1-0 more than mine. So we are going out this evening after this challenge to our favorite steakhouse, and I'm ordering a large gelatin T-bone for me, and I'm ordering a ribeye each for the dogs. I'm going to take their own plate, and it's steak night for the birthday people. Dogs, things. Right. Anyway, thought I'd share that with you. Cool. On that note, what I want to do today is give you a formula, a very simple formula, where it's only 3 steps that you really want to chunk it down to. Now, each step can have sub-steps. We get that. But the brain tends to count 1, 2, 3, many. And so if I was to just give you, out of all the stuff you've learned for the last 5 days, and just give you a 3 steps to how to apply that, would that be useful? And yes, you can add in your notes, and you can go over your smart notes, and you can reread your all the other stuff you look down in your bingo moments and your ahas, and they'll all factor in individually to each of you in your own movie. But there's 3 kind of steps, and the reason I want to share these is because most people that go out and try to manifest and apply this miss completely step number 1. In fact, they don't actually miss step number 1, they actively avoid it. And if you go to other manifestation classes, you go to other manifestation workshops, or buy manifestation courses, or any of the stuff out there, and I've seen a lot of them. And guys, give me some feedback. I'm not trying to position myself here, but just so that I'm aware, have you got some things out of this 5 days that you've never seen elsewhere being taught in the manifesting world? The way people try to do it, it's just, there's a reason why the secret societies either keep this information for themselves or they actively misrepresent it. Now, I gave you yesterday Think and Grow Rich, right? And The Richest Man in Babylon. It's part of the mystery box. Who knows the story behind Think and Grow Rich? Okay. Well, most people have an understanding that Andrew Carnegie, the then richest man in the world, asked Napoleon Hill to go and spend 20 to 25 years of his life dedicating, going around the world with letters of introduction to interview the most successful people and find out what the commonalities are. That's essentially the background. What most people don't know is that the book that Napoleon Hill put together, and by the way, a lot of the people he interviewed, as is Andrew Carnegie, who hired him, were members of the secret society. Well, when you start to go and learn these things, he put it together in a very powerful book called, wasn't Think and Grow Rich, it was called The Laws of Success, 15 lessons. Added an extra lesson on Mastermind afterwards, so it turned out to be 16 lessons. But here's the challenge. One of the richest men at that time, as he was going through years and years, this is as Andrew Carnegie was passed away, was Henry Ford. We've all heard of Henry Ford, right? Henry Ford was a member of the secret society. Now, and by the way, a lot of this was trying to poo-poo. I've saw a lot of people like your Johnny-come-lately contrarians. You see them a lot trying to make a name for themselves by saying, oh, Napoleon Hill was a fraud and this never happened. There's no record of that. Of course there's no record. It was the secret societies. And here's how I know it was right. Because when Napoleon Hill published his book, The Laws of Success, and then Think and Grow Rich, Henry Ford and his interactions with Henry Ford were very well detailed. Well, if Henry Ford, who was the richest, most powerful man at that time, had never have met Napoleon Hill, or Napoleon Hill was just a fraud and full of crap, he would have sued him out in a heartbeat. I mean, people just don't think things through. However, the laws of success was so comprehensive, over 1,000 pages, that Henry Ford and some of the other members of the secret society actually thought it was giving too much away to the public. And as a result, they pulled it off the shelves. Now, you can still get the copy now because it's out of copyright for the manuscripts. I have a very nice copy of the Laws of Success. It's an amazing book, but it's 3 to 4 times bigger than Think and Grow Rich. And the reason that they wanted it pulled is because it gave too much of the secret source away to the public. So Napoleon Hill had to water it down, and the watered down version that gives you enough to get results, but certainly not at the level that you're taught as an initiate or a master in the secret societies, was watered down and put into a book called Think and Grow Rich. Now, I know a lot of people that have become millionaires through Think and Grow Rich, which is great if you just want to be a millionaire. It works pretty well for that. But remember, the uber wealthy, I mean, Andrew Carnegie was worth 180 million before he did his deal with United Steel. This is in the 1800s. If you look at Andrew Carnegie, what he would be worth in today's money would be more than Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, and Bill Gates combined. These guys knew how to generate and create wealth, not physically by working their ass off, not by holding on 3 different jobs, not by being able to do 130 hours a week, but by understanding how to attract abundance, how to generate opportunities that would come to them that they would be able to then capitalize on at high levels. So, Rockefeller was who then stepped in to purchase, shall we say, a huge amount of the oil business that then kind of tied in as a conglomerate with United Steel, with don't get me started. Or off track. But my point being is there is a lot that is taught in the secret societies that is specifically held back from the public or pushed out, or you get somebody who wants to be a law of attraction expert that thinks that they know what they're talking about and never really is able to demonstrate in their life at the level that if you were an initiate or a master in the secret societies, you could. And so, Walter Russell was definitely an amazing person as well. On that, if you ever read the life of Walter Russell, he was incredible. So when it comes to step number 1, I need to give you a frame for it. And the frame centers around something called the gravity well. How many of you know what a gravity well is? Now, the reason I can talk about a gravity well, and this is a picture of what's called the Earth's gravitational potential, or gravity well. And the gravity well of the Earth is how much gravity is pushing down on you or sucking you to the Earth's surface. Just here. So this is the surface of the Earth, right? So you're right at the bottom of a very deep well, which means if you need to escape the Earth's gravity well, you have to have a huge amount of energy, right? 12,000 pounds of thrust to be precise, which means if you've got a rocket, one of Elon's rockets, or the space shuttle, you've got to push over 12,000 pounds worth of thrust in order to escape the gravity well of the Earth. Now, once you're outside the gravity well, it's easy. You don't need anything because out here, there's no gravity well. You're already outside the well. But if you get to here and you push and push and push and you run out of fuel, or you're only making 11,000 pounds of thrust instead of 12, what happens, ladies and gentlemen? You're back to Earth, okay? So the gravity well of the Earth is quite massive. It takes a lot of energy to get into orbit. But once you're in orbit, you're outside the gravity well, it's easy. Just makes it. Now, if you contrast that with the moon, the mass of the Earth, and it has a much lower gravity well. Looks something like this, which means that in order to escape the moon's gravity well, you don't need as much thrust or power. Am I making sense now? Yeah. Let me get, so if you're on the moon, because there's less gravity, you can bounce 6 feet in the air with a jump. It takes a lot less fuel for a lander to get off the moon than it does to escape the Earth's gravity well. So you understand. So the whole aspect of gravity well. Now, let me bring in a different frame. So let's just say you replace Earth, with procrastination. Let's say you replace the word Earth with mediocrity. Let's say you replace the word Earth with status quo. Let's say you replace the word Earth with buy me. Now, it takes a lot of energy to get out of the gravity well. And if you don't get out of the gravity well, you're going to fall back down to planet procrastination. Meaning, how many people have got excited, you've got some thrust, and you go off and try something new, and 3 weeks later, you're back doing what you were doing. You never managed to sustain the habit. You never managed to quit the smoking. You never managed to meditate every day. You never managed to follow through on your vision board, your affirmations, or whatever it was you were trying to build a habit for. Yeah, most people. Why? Because you have a gravity well that's pretty deep when it comes to your past sense of self, your identity, your habits, your behaviors, your automated actions that we call habits. You get the idea. So you've just spent 5 days going through some pretty profound information. You could take the information that you want, that you've taken that's been relevant to you these last 5 days, and I think all of you have had at least one bingo moment, something that you can use to actually change your life or the direction of your life. And some of you are making the mistake that you are on the moon instead of on Earth. Am I making sense here? Some of you think that just because you've got the notebook, just because you've got the ahas, just because you've got some thrust, that you're going to be able to escape the gravity well of your previous habits and your previous convictions and your previous decision making, all of that stuff. And this is why so many people screw up when it comes to trying to create or generate in any form of personal development. So step one in the 3 steps I'm going to share with you may sound a little counterintuitive, but going back to the Earth's physics, you need 12,000 pounds of thrust. That's a lot of freaking thrust. And once you've escaped the gravity well, it's easy. Once you've been able to build abundance, it's easy not to go back to poverty. Right? But you can't tell that to somebody who's stuck at the bottom of the poverty well when you're floating out in orbit surrounded by abundance. Right? They just don't know how to do it. Yeah, they're sitting there thinking that 6,000 pounds of thrust because they got all excited because they went to a seminar for 2 days is going to make a change. And it isn't. At least not enough that's required to escape the gravity well of where you currently are. So step number 1 is not about knowing what you want. Step number 1 is not about getting all the tools in place. Step number 1 is, ladies and gentlemen, you got to get mad. You've got to get absolutely mad. When I say mad, I don't mean like a March hare. I'm on about you have got to be to the point where you are freaking disgusted at your tolerance for lack of abundance. You have got to get angry. You have got to say, I am freaking done playing small. That's it. Declaration, line in the sand, I am effing done. Whatever it means to you. Now, if you then contrast that with how most people teach, that, you shouldn't ever get angry. I'm a spiritual person. Oh, you got to be high vibration. Yeah? How's that been generating abundance for you so far? There is a place for that. But it's not going to get you out the gravity well. What gets people out of the gravity well is thrust. And anger is an excellent source of energy when it comes to thrust. Not angry at other people, not angry at the government, not angry at the fact your dog peed on the carpet, none of that. We're talking about building up energy so that you can go to step number 2, which is to transmute that energy into a positive force. Okay, making sense? See, when you have enough anger, and the best analogy I can give you here is if you have a bow and arrow. Most people know what it is that they want because they've been told you've got to have the intention of what you want. You've got to be clear about what you want. You've got to write down what is your vision, what is your DCA, your definite chief aim, what's your next logical step, what is it you want? And you've written out your ideal day and you're all excited about doing what you're doing. And so you've got the arrow pointed in the right direction. And you've got the arrow on the bow. And the arrow is pointing directly at the target. And what do? You say, go arrow. And wonder why it falls off or makes it about 3 feet on the floor. See, what I'm talking about, and anger is an ego. Anger is an emotion that builds up a conviction. Nobody changes inside of a comfort zone, right? Meaning that anger is a very good fuel for determination. That's what you channel it into. But anger is you pulling the bow back. You're going in the opposite direction of the loving, abundant, calm, peaceful future that you want, right? Just as if you're pulling the arrow back further from the target. So it's retreating from the target initially. But what you're doing is building tension, building thrust, building escape velocity, so that when you let go of that arrow, it is going to go and it ain't coming back. And so when you use anger on your terms, you see, when anger is using you on its terms, it is a destructive force. When you use anger as a way to escape the gravity well of planet poverty, of planet mediocrity, right? When you use that and you harness that into a determination to have, I'm using my language very carefully here, guys. You harness anger, disgust. You go look at any drug addict that got clean or anyone that actually quit smoking. There was a point in many of the stories where, like, you know something, I am just done. It's like, I'm done with this life. Yeah, or you see somebody that walks out of a narcissistic relationship that's been putting them down for so long. There is a tipping point, a moment of explosion where you say, you know something, screw this. I am done. The energy that goes with that builds with that. Now, if you take that, screw this, I'm done, and you go punch a wall or drink a bottle of whiskey, that ain't going to help, right? So bringing in anger is probably more bang for your buck, because if you're not angry at where you're at, you're going to put up with it. If you're not angry at the narcissistic idiot that's been taking advantage of you for the last 10 years, you're going to stay in the relationship. Am I making sense? So you need to be able to escape that gravity well, all right? Otherwise, you are going to get stuck down here. And you're going to do what you've probably done in the past. Make little jumps. Yeah, big jump. Next time, jump a little higher. Jump a little higher. Oh, I managed to reach the top with my fingernails and then slid all the way back down. Yes. You need escape velocity, and it doesn't come very often in a calm, rational, oh, I'm going to do this now. Because the rear part of your brain was most likely programmed through fear. So anger allows you to pull that bow back to get that escape velocity, right? To essentially have what it takes to not go back. It's burning the bridges on your old life, saying, I'm done. Now, you don't live there. Anger is destructive long term. Just like when you get scared, being scared is very useful to point you in a direction of danger that your body can then shut down your immune system and your digestive system to draw energy into the muscle so you can run like crap away from the fire-breathing dragon. However, once you've got away from a fire-breathing dragon, to stay stressed out of your mind is not going to help. Again, you look at an antelope that runs from a lion. Every part of its biology is drawing all power to the engines. It's not digesting. It's not trying to fight tumors. It's not doing anything else, not having critical thinking, or it's a fight or flight, boom. But what happens 20 minutes later when the lion's nowhere to be seen and it's munching grass again? All of its vitals have restabilized. Its heart rate's down. Its ears are twitching again. It's munching grass. It's everything fine. It's worried. Oh, what was that sound? Oh, no, that's okay. Fair enough. Munch, munch, munch. So when you are in fight or flight mode from poverty, mediocrity, and scarcity, and you use that mobilization of anger to say, I am done with my old life, remember, the how is none of your business. What stops people from making a declaration is that they don't think they can follow through because they don't know the how. That's what stops a lot of people. Or they've been programmed that anger is bad. I don't want to do that. What we should do is just sit around, hold hands, sing Kumbaya, and opportunities will come, and then wonder why they play rinse and repeat. Okay? So when you go and grab hold of the bow and you pull it back, right? You say, I am no longer going to settle for a life of scarcity. I'm no longer going to settle for being worried about money. I am no longer going to settle for whatever it is that you don't want to settle, paying rent instead of paying a mortgage, so I can finally make my money work for me rather than for my landlord, whatever it may be, right? So do that. Don't live there. Once you've made the decision, the declaration, once you're not talking yourself out of it, right, which means nobody else can talk you out of it. Once you've got to that level, then you can channel that anger into positive determination. That's ultimately what we're looking for. The positive determination to have. Now, what is inherent with a positive determination to have is it makes it very easy to have a positive determination to act. And the determination to have and the determination to act is the yin and yang of how the universe works with you in through me. Everybody catch what I just said? The determination to have tells the universe that you are on point. I'm done. This is it. It's a declaration. It's like done. The determination to act makes it very easy to put one foot in front of the other to take advantage of whatever the universe is going to give you, or to at least be an actor on set that the universal directors can work with and coach and whisper to, or bring coincidence with, or synchronicities with, or that kind of thing. They are the two parts. The determination to have must come first. Some of you have the determination to act, but there's not enough fuel with the determination to act to get out of the gravity well, which is why you go from, certainly in Buy Me, stressed out Simon, to burnt out Barry, to heart attack Harry, to dropping into Vince the victim, realizing that's not fun, and then go back into Achiever Alan. So the determination to have is just like, no, that's mine. It's done. Don't care how. How's none of my business? but I already know. I'm telling the universe right now. If you want a really good analogy of how to do this, it's once, let's say that you are hungry and you are tired of being hungry and you're used to being hungry, so used to it that right now it's normal. You got that pang in your stomach. And one day you wake up and you see other people eating in nice restaurants. And you see like meals being carried to the table. You're something, I am done being hungry. I was told by my parents that I should never walk into a restaurant because it's bad. Yeah. Yeah, it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a Michelin star restaurant than it is for me to eat. You get the idea? So I'm done with that. I am done. I am going to go and I'm going to know that I'm worthy of eating in a restaurant. So you know something? Screw it. I'm finally going to go and knock on the door. So you do. And you decide you don't want to be hungry anymore because there's abundance of food in things called restaurants that is available all the time. There's an abundance of this thing we call money that's able to come out of the universal bath tap whenever we decide to turn it on because it is an unlimited renewable resource. And some of you have been sat there on your backside scratching for poverty because you didn't realize. So what happens? You go into the restaurant. Now, what got you there? What got you there was, I'm done being hungry. You follow? Now, you don't walk into the restaurant angry. You don't kick the door into the maitre d' and say, oi, Pancho, all right, I'm done being hungry. Find me a table. That's not going to work. That's going to get you a fast track to being thrown out the restaurant, right? So the anger, what pulls back the bow, the determination to not settle for being hungry anymore, gets you to the restaurant. It gets you to know what you want and start to take action. You're walking towards the restaurant. Now what happens? You go in the restaurant and you sit down, and what happens next? You get given a menu. A menu that contains lots of different things. By the way, the Rob Report is a very nice menu. Vision boards are a nice menu. You get the idea. So you choose something out of the menu. Now, what do most people say? Oh, couldn't have that. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of lobster bisque. Holy crap, no, I'm only worthy of tomato soup. Couldn't be ordering that. Now, to the chef, is there any difference between an order that comes in for lobster bisque and an order that comes in for tomato soup? But there is to you based upon, you will never eat above the opinion of your menu. Starting to hear it from different levels now. So, but you went to the 5-day Manifesting Mastery Challenge, or you chose to move forward and be an initiate into the Secret Society rulebook and master this stuff. So you're now sitting down and you say, I'm going to order anything I damn well want because I'm worth it. I deserve it. I know the universe loves me. It's got my back. The chef is my friend. I'm going to order. I'm going to look at what lights me up. I'm going to look at what I like. I'm going to order off the left side of the menu for a change, not the right side of the menu. Oh my God, what a concept. So what happens? You scroll down and think, oh, filet mignon, yum, yum. Sorry, vegetarians. I'll pick something for you in a moment, right? Or you look at, something that's like, delicious. You've got this, fantastic, Maine lobster thermidor or, whatever pumpkin seed veggie thing that you veggies have. Sorry, I don't know what they are. Anyway, you order what you want, what lights you up, what's truth for you in your movie. That's what lights you up. And you place your order. Now, question for you. When the maitre d' comes and you place the order, let's pick something not that controversial. I don't know. You're going to take the pate. There we go. No one's going to make fun of it. No one's going to be upset with pate. There we go. So you're going to order the pate for starters, right? And then for main course, yeah, sorry, it's my birthday. I'm having a T-bone. So you put the order in. And what does the maitre d' do? He goes to the kitchen. What happens in the kitchen? You don't know because you've not been there. You don't need to go there. It's behind the scenes. However, do you know and do you have conviction that your food will come out at some point? How much conviction? How much do you stand there trying to visualize your food to the table? How much do you doubt that, oh dear, maybe this is taking too long and that the chef didn't get my order, and what if he doesn't like me? And what if it doesn't really work anymore? And, you know, I was watching the news yesterday and I've kind of forgotten that, yeah, I deserve the steak in the first place, right? So, no, when you go to the restaurant, you sit down, you place your order. Do you get to tell the chef how to cook your food? Do you wander in and say, oi, I know you got a couple of Michelin stars on the on the wall, bloke, but hey, dude, look, my grandma says you should put more pepper in than that. Right? No, you don't do that. Right? That's not how it works. So you sit there with absolute conviction and absolute trust. Most of you will never know the chef's name. Some of you have different names for the chef. Universe, God, Allah, Buddha, Krishna, yeah, divine, yeah, universal, big cheese, whatever. So what happens next is you sit there and you wait. And what do most people do? What most people do at that point is pretty simple. They start doubting. Like, oh my God, I wonder if it'll ever come. Because the second thing you never get to tell the chef is when it comes on the table. Roger? Everyone familiar? Have you ever told the chef or the maitre d', listen, I'll have the pate and the T-bone, but I want it on the table at 8:17 and 42 seconds, please. That's, that you don't do that. You just know, underline, know, not hope, not wish, not guess, not pray. You just know there is an absolute calm level of conviction that your meal will show up at the perfect time once it's been cooked. We're starting to learn something. So if you now realize that step number one, to get out of the gravity well, draw a line in the sand. Say that you're done being hungry. There's no need to be hungry. Guys, honestly, there's no need to be hungry in a world full of restaurants. There's no need to be poor or live in scarcity or try to make ends meet or struggle and not pay the bills or settle for what you don't want in a world full of abundance where money is created out of the ether. Step number two, once you've made the decision that you're done being hungry and you walk to the restaurant, right, you transmute that into a positive force. I say, I'm out of the door. I'm taking action. I am determined to have a nicely cooked meal. And because you've transmuted that energy into a positive force, a determination to have, it's easy to act on the determination to have. Which means step three, pretty simple. We then focus that energy into our goal. Now, there are some nuances I'm going to give you, right? Once you've pulled the arrow back, here's a few things that I want to share. You have to play the game of feel great now. Now, what does Buy Me do? Well, what game does Buy Me play? Feel great when? Feel great when what? What's Buy Me waiting for? Feel great when I finally get my damn steak. And I'm going to sit at the table not feeling great until I get my steak. Some of you have probably done that in a restaurant. But when you're in the restaurant and you're sitting there appreciating the ambience, you know your steak's going to come. You know that you never had to cook it. You got some universal person moving things around in the background. There'll be an exchange of value for it. Yeah, you'll be able to use something that you call money to pay for it. But that's just an exchange of value. right? And the money was there. But what you're after is the steak coming through that you don't have to figure out how to cook it. Yeah, if you want a souffle, most of you wouldn't be able to cook a souffle. I can't cook a souffle. I don't need to. Yeah, I cook very well with the telephone. So when I'm sitting there at the restaurant, if I can be appreciative of where I am, even though I'm still hungry, listen to me, guys, even though I'm still hungry because I haven't eaten yet, do you think I'd be able to find a reason to feel grateful for being in the restaurant? Then why have some of you been complaining, playing feel great when I'm full? So play the game, feel great now. You've got to let go of the need for the how. The how's none of your business. The how will be presented to you in various different pieces. And they will come in not through email, not through somebody handing you a letter, but through ideas, inspiration, gut feel, intuition, coincidences, and synchronicities. Now, the other thing is you need to let go of the need. And this is one of the biggest things, right? You need to let go of the need because you need to feel like you already have it. And I may have something in the mystery box for you today that'll help with this. Right? And that is that if you want the real secret sauce to understanding this, I said something earlier in the challenge. Some of you commented on, some of you probably missed it. I said the only thing we can actually do in life is experience. And the only thing we can actually experience is the act of experiencing. And we experience predominantly through our emotions. That's how the human being works. We experience most of our life, the ups, the downs, the beauty, through our emotions. If you've shut off your emotions, you've basically shut off the color of your movie. You're living in a black and white movie because you don't want to be scared, you don't want to be hurt, you don't want to be upset, you don't want to be disappointed, you don't want to be rejected, you don't want to be fill in the blank, right? Boring black and white movie. But if you're looking to really create with the field as your partner, with the quantum field of unlimited possibilities where everything exists in what we call a zero state that is waiting to be actualized, to be brought on screen on your computer of life, then we really have to focus on the communication is based upon feeling, correct? So if we feel now as if it's already happened, what the great Neville Goddard would call assuming the wish fulfilled, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, or the law of assumption. So if you assume it's already happened, right? That's what the screen test helps us do. Remember, it allows you to become bigger than your sense data. There is a factor here that really is another missing piece, because most people leave out part number one, right? So the missing piece on the back end of this is that if you can feel so good about already having it, independent of your sense data, you then need to own the fact that, you know something, if it never does happen, I really don't care because I only wanted it in order to feel how I'm already feeling now. Ooh, that's a little more advanced for some people. I'll say it once more. The key to accelerating your manifestation is to feel the wish fulfilled to such an extent that your inner world is so much more real and you're already there. You don't actually care if it appears on your timeline out in physical matter reality or not. Why? Because the only reason you originally wanted it was to make you feel like you're already feeling now. So even if you never had it, you don't care. And that is where you're able to let go of the attachment, which stops most people manifesting. It's not giving up. It's not caring. It's owning it now in your present inner world as a feeling, because everything that you wanted on your vision board, your house, your car, your health, your whatever, ultimately was because you wanted it to give you a certain feeling. And you were setting up a permission frame that once I get the car, I'll feel great. No, feel great now because you feel yourself in the car. And how would you feel if you were driving it right now and you're looking around and smelling the new leather and seeing the dashboard and holding the steering wheel and feeling the acceleration and all of that? You feel so amazing now. You know something? I don't need the actual physical car in order to feel what I thought I needed to feel to have it for. Wow. And at that moment, you cut the strings of importance. You let go, you release it into the field. It's not about, just looking here from Paula, if you broadcast it, you don't want it anymore. It's not about you broadcasting, you don't want it anymore. It's not the fact you don't want it. It's the fact you already have it. That's very different. Why would I need it to show up in physical matter reality when I already have it in non-physical matter reality? And as soon as you are bonded to it in non-physical matter reality, there's no need to chase it with an energy of desperation, desire, which is when it accelerates from the field into physical matter reality. That is what's known as the want it, I don't want it paradox. And once you get that, it's easy to play feel great now. You can always play feel great now. Unless you drop back into buy me and forget that you're a universal being that has the ability to manifest from the field directly. A few bingos coming in the chat here, boys and girls. So those nuances, let's just go over them once more. Feel great now. Let go of the how. Let go of the need. Why? Because you feel like you already have it. I want to make this real for you. I want to give you an example. Let's put it to the test. 6 years ago, this was me. There's Archie. 6 years ago, he was 4 years old in the foreground. That little van that you can see there was the van that I put all of my belongings in that I owned when I was driving to Tenerife. Now, sadly, on the left, you can just see my dear friend Stuart, who I was just speaking at his funeral a little while back. But if you look in the back of the van, this was at I believe this particular one was at a truck stop in the north of Spain, around the Basque area. We'd spent 2 days driving through France, 2 days across the Channel Tunnel from England, 2 days then we were going to drive down for Spain. This is what the back of the van looked like, by the way. That was my worldly possessions 6 years ago. Now, what did I have? I'd just come out of jail. I was the third of 300,000 in debt. So what did I have? I didn't have a lot. Well, I had a proven coaching program called the Elite Mentorship Forum that I knew helped and transformed lives. But that's all I had. I didn't have, any online reviews. I had zero budget for marketing. I had one virtual assistant in the Philippines costing me $600 a month that I was, trying to hold together. In fact, the month that I arrived in Tenerife, I told her that unless we made sold an Elite Mentorship Forum, I wouldn't be able to pay her. And I had 1 month's rent in the bank. That was it. Oh, yes, there was one other thing I had. Almost forgot. I had everything that I've taught you guys this week. So, fast forward 6 years. Where am I at? Since then, over $30 million in revenue. I've won multiple global awards. Multiple books published in multiple languages from publishers I'd never met or spoke to. Over 4,000 verified 5-star reviews for the Elite Mentorship Forum. #1 in the industry. In fact, if you ask ChatGPT about EMF, it'll blow you away. Might even do that later. I've got an amazing partner, amazing lifestyle. And my luxury dream property, which was the Oasis. This is an 8-bedroom luxury home set in a 90,000 square foot paradise. It's got the most stunning gardens on the island. It's fully furnished. It was ready to move in. Everything was high-end and beautiful. This is the master walk-in, his and her wardrobe, and the master bathroom in the master bedroom, right? I had a slight problem, though. 18 months ago, I was over $1 million short on being able to buy it. right? Making it impossible to buy. However, right, to buy, as in to me and buy me. But I don't have a relationship to money that exists in buy me or to me. Some of you do. But I felt this was right. I was walking around this property and it felt right. And this is a big one for you want to write down. The mantra that we have here is, I knew it would be this or something better. That helps you release attachment. Now, when I say I was $1 million short, I hadn't lived here long enough in order to be able to build up enough credit rating or pay enough tax yet for a bank to give me a mortgage. Plus, as an expat, right, I wasn't in the system long enough. So I couldn't buy it with finance. I had to buy it outright. And this was a multi-million dollar home, and I couldn't close the gap, right? I was, well over nearly closer to $2 million short. But I felt it. And I was like, I feel this, right? And if it's not this, it'll be something even better. So again, attachment is gone. So I asked for a sign. I walked around the property. I'm like, give me a sign. Is this a property that I'm going to manifest, or is it just showing me something that could be available downstream? I don't mind. And this was an internal, I thought, well, I have a chief how officer. Let me see. Give me a sign if this is something I want to go with. And so I walked around and I looked up at one part of the property and I burst out laughing. I didn't even tell Nadia, right? And the reason I burst out laughing was because I saw the sign. Casa CHO. Casa means home. Casa Chief How Officer. I actually found out where my Chief How Officer lived. And at that point, $2 million nearly with no way to close the gap in time. They needed a quick sale for this property. And anybody else that would have seen this would have probably taken it. It's the most beautiful, unique property on the whole of Tenerife in the south. So I wanted to make it happen. And did I have any idea how? I didn't need a how. I got a chief how officer. In fact, do you know why it's called Casa Cho? Because it's in a village, and this isn't even a Spanish word. It's just 3 letters. But it's in a village called Cho. In fact, this is the sign that's outside of my actual property. I'm standing 2 feet from my property wall right now, holding on to that sign. You couldn't make it up, right? So I went and I just did what I've told you guys to do this week. The difference is I have the conviction. And by the way, what started that conviction, what pulled that arrow back, I'd been here for 4.5 to 5 years at that point. And I'm like, I've been paying rent and I've got a beautiful home. Some of you came and enjoyed my 50th birthday at my beautiful home, but I was paying rent. And that was a beautiful home, but I was paying money to the landlord, not to me. And I woke up one day, I'm like, something, I am done paying rent. I'm done. Absolutely. It's over. It's just over. And that declaration went out. Now, I didn't have enough money to go buy the kind of place I wanted. Doesn't matter. You don't wait for that to start. Otherwise, you've missed everything I've said. So that was the starting point. And when I saw the sign, okay, Chief How Officer, give me a sign. Come on, you got to be kidding. All right, it's done. All I did was practice what I've been teaching you. I focused my energy on the determination to have. I didn't have a how. I would meditate, visualize every day, do my screen test every day. Nadia and I would sit. Even when we were traveling, we would go and feel the grass under our feet. We would smell the freshness of the trees around us. Got beautiful gardens, 2 acres. And out of nowhere, one morning, I got a hit. I got an insight. I got an inspiration. I got a download. I happened to meet somebody. Oh, different ideas that started coming through. And what do you know? All of a sudden it came together. Within a few weeks, literally within a few weeks, $2 million came out of nowhere. And the rest is history. And I haven't got time to go into how did I find the 2 mil. I didn't find the 2 mil. My chief how officer found it. Some of you know that story. I've shared it a little more detail in my financial creativity talks. But that shows you what's on offer. My sense of normality around the universe finding me millions of dollars is higher than yours. Some of you need to start small and build up. Some of you need to practice this for $1,000. But I had absolute conviction. And if it isn't that, it'll be something better. If somebody does buy it and it goes off the market, and it's because it wasn't meant to be and something even better is coming. I'm excited either way. I'm grateful either way. I've let go of the attachment. If the chef's ran out of T-bone, he's going to bring me a ribeye, or a prime rib. You get the idea. That level is how it makes happen. Now, does it mean that now you've got all the money and you know how to manifest it, that I don't have any problems? I've had an up and down life a lot, right? No, of course not. Yeah, there's some of the beautiful homes, $1 million homes. I used to have business class one day, first class the next day, economy the next, and probably rowing boat the next. But no, it doesn't mean I'll never have any problems, ladies and gentlemen. But listen to me carefully. I make mistakes too. The key is that I make it back faster every time I lose it now. Why? And bigger. Because I have the conviction in that I'm teaching you. Because I know it works. And there's not one person on here that can ever talk me out of that. And what I want for you is for you to be the person that nobody can talk out of it. Right now, the first person you need to convince is the one in the mirror. I'm going to give you some inspiration for that and some tools on that on our private session that's coming up for those that want to join me. But has that been useful? Does that give you some simplification around what steps to take? We've covered a lot over the last 5 days. We've got some cool stuff to cover tomorrow as well. But if you just practice those 3 steps in order and sequence, you are going to be amazed at what you are able to generate from the field. There is never a reason for you to be hungry unless you're doing some intermittent fasting to be able to teach you some humility so you don't get too gluttonous, right? The universe can help you with that sometimes as well. But when you really have that relationship, abundance is your birthright. And even if you are doing intermittent fasting, I fasted for 4 days last week, then went and ran 10 kilometers before I had my first meal. Why? Out of choice. Because I don't want to get gluttonous. So on that note, I want to say thank you for the last 5 days. We do have the bonus day tomorrow. And yes, it will be recorded if you can't make it, but please show up live. We're going to be having some amazing interaction that I want you guys a part of. And there is something else as well. I do believe, somebody mentioned mystery box. Oh my goodness. So how would you like our last little mystery box gift for today, ladies and gentlemen? And this is a really powerful, really beautiful, special 15-minute, specially selected and created audio from somebody you may have heard of called Bashar. And with Bashar is an entity that is channeled by Daryl Ackner, just like for those that may have heard of Abraham Hicks channels, it's Esther Hicks who channels the entity Abraham. And you could call it a non-physical being. You could call it downloads from the universe. You could call it their imagination. It doesn't matter. What do you do with the quality of information? And this 15-minute audio I've specially selected. I've listened to dozens of hours of Bashar's work. This 15-minute audio is essentially a rapid manifestation reminder that covers some of the things I've spoken about today, and I think that you're really going to appreciate it. So that is your gift for today. Guys, we are at the top of the hour. I want to invite everybody who has signed up for the special training. We're going to jump onto a separate Zoom link. You should have been there. If you haven't got it, go to petersage.com/apply, and there may still be time to grab it. And let's go meet there. I think it's going to be on a general Zoom, so we might even be able to see each other face to face. Let's see what happens. See what my tech team is doing, or I might be just completely lying. We'll see. So go stretch your legs, grab some water, whatever, and let's put a lead on this puppy, and I'll see you on the new link very soon for what's going to be an amazing opportunity for all of you to take things to the next level. All right. Thank you, guys.